Hello everybody and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel, and the team news should be out any minute now. As soon as the team news comes out, we'll switch the conversation to United's lineup. But I've just been watching Arsenal, West Ham versus Arsenal. West Ham are the home team, aren't they? They were 3-0 up at one point, but it's 3-1 at half time. So Arsenal have just got their noses back into it, so you just never know. But Jesse Lingard, wow, what's he been having for breakfast? I don't think I've seen Jesse Lingard play as well. And I mean this honestly, I don't think I've ever seen him play as well for United in all the time he was with us as what I'm seeing from him at the minute. I know he scored one or two cracking goals for United over the years, but he seems to have a little bit of consistency about his game. Every time I watch West Ham, he seems to be playing quite well for him. He's all over the field, he's giving good easy passes, making himself available, he's scoring goals. Scored an absolute cracker today. Lovely play by Mikel Antonio. He's an underrated player, by the way. I think West Ham last week at Old Trafford, I think they missed a trick. They seem to be a bit frightened of us, and I've seen them against Arsenal today. They're taking them to the cleaners at times.
Too respectful against us.
I think so.
Having
said that, Jesse Lingard couldn't play last week. I don't know how much of an effect that has. He is playing well for him, but his first goal was an absolute cracker. He teed it up himself. Mikel Antonio laid it back to him. Took a little touch to lift it off the floor. Knew what he was doing, because then as it dropped, it was perfect for striking with the laces, so you can get power in it, and it's bending away from the keeper. It really was a cracking goal. And then dead quick thinking, he took a quick free kick to Jared Bowen, and the keeper should have done better actually. He stuck one in the near corner. But Jesse Lingard's on fire. So anyone who's watching already, if there's any goals in that game, we've not got it in front of us, but if there's any goals in that game, please let us know as we go along. It's half time right now. They'll be back out in 5 minutes, I think.
Aqua Egg in the chat here has just touched on something I was about to say to you. As you've said, he's playing like he's never played for us before, Jesse Lingard.
Yeah.
Like we never saw him play that way for United. I think he looked like that playing under Van Gaal.
Right. When
he first came in after that pre-season tour.
Yeah.
And that Van Gaal, he got injured, didn't he, at home against... was it against Burnley in the first game of the season?
Can't remember.
Right in front of the touchline, right in front of the dugouts, he got in. I can't remember.
You've got a better memory than me. I can't remember that.
He played well in the pre-season tour that summer under Van Gaal.
In the States.
And he was... but it was under Van Gaal's philosophy, disciplined philosophy. Get hold of it, pass it. Get hold of it, pass it. At United, it's under Mourinho, under Ollie now, there's been no philosophy to speak of. Not for me, there hasn't. And I think under Moyes now, he's playing in another disciplined structure where he's got the license to
move about, go where he wants,
correct,
get involved in the play
within a structure.
Yeah.
Within a structure, and I think it's suiting him down to the bone. Suiting him down to the bone.
So 3-1 for West Ham at half time. Chelsea are through. They beat Sheffield United 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. So the draw. I'm going to
teams out.
Go on, let's have it.
Henderson in goal.
Yeah.
Lindelof, Maguire, Bissaka, and Telles.
Wow.
Telles in. And then this I'm going to have to work out a bit. Fred, Matic.
Yeah.
Van der Beek.
Yeah.
Pogba.
Yeah.
Marshall, Greenwood.
Wow. So he's rested
a
Bruno.
Lot of changes.
He's rested Bruno. I'm amazed. Did you say Hendo in goal, yeah?
Hendo in goal.
AWB, yeah?
Correct.
Lindelof, Maguire.
Yeah, Tellers at left back.
I'm shocked he's left Luke Shaw out. I really am. I know he needs to give people games now and then, but
Then I think it looks like... Van der Beek at 10.
Matic and Fred.
Matic and Fred in the middle.
Yeah.
Van der Beek at 10.
Yeah.
Greenwood on the right.
Marshall at 9.
Pogba on the left. And
Dan James has been left out, hasn't he?
Dan James left out as well, yeah.
Greenwood, Martial, and Pogba. Right. Yeah, Pogba will be on the left where he played at the weekend.
I think he will be,
during
yeah.
the week.
So Bruno, Van der Beek's getting a run out at 10 by the looks of it to me.
Yeah, it does to me. I'm amazed.
So am I.
I'm absolutely amazed, and I'm dead pleased with it. I would love Dan James to be on the right wing. I think it'd be a cracking lineup.
Yeah.
I really do.
As you always say, the game's infectious.
Yes.
Greenwood could play a bit of ticky-tacky today.
Yeah, Van der Beek. To do that. Can't wait for it. Van der Beek. I've not seen him for ages.
Yeah.
Not seen him. What's the bench?
De Gea, Shaw. So De Gea's obviously straight back in without any quarantine issues there, by the way.
He's been training for a bit now.
Okay, so De Gea, Shaw, Tuanzebe, Williams, Ahmad, Bruno, James, McTominay and Cavani.
Right, so Cavani's on the bench, right?
Looking a lot stronger all of a sudden, isn't it?
Yeah.
Squad-wise.
Yeah, I'm excited by this lineup.
Yeah.
I just wish, I always say, you need to get these games for people in the strongest possible team. If Luke Shaw was playing in this team now, I would think, it's got a great chance of really playing really well. I'm not saying Telles is a poor player. I can't stress enough how important it is if you've got a player who's, to me, it's obvious that he's a better player. So it doesn't matter how much buy. I mean, I see people use the word clear on Twitter all the time. Such a body's clear. Such a body's clear. Well, if you want me to use those terms that people use, Shaw is clear of Telles. If Shaw was playing, this team, I think, would be a brilliant lineup, and I'm excited as it is, but I'd be even more excited. I said after the Sheffield United game, he shouldn't have tinkered with his back four. Even against AC Milan at home, he tinkered with it. I think we might have put that game to bed if he wouldn't have tinkered with it. So he has not tinkered with it as much. He made 2 changes in each of those games that I've just mentioned. But in this game, it's just telling. Is Bailey on the bench, by the way? You didn't say Bailey, did you?
No, Bailey's not on the bench.
Bailey must be injured, I think.
Shaw, Tuanzebe, Williams, defenders on the bench.
Bailey must be injured.
Yeah. Mr. F says, I wish McTominay for Fred, Luke for Telles, James for Greenwood, and this would be madness.
So do I. Who said that?
Mr. F.
Mr. F, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? I would be absolutely over the moon with that team, and as I say, I'm pleased with it as it is. I'm pleased with it. I'm glad Matic is getting a game as well as Van der Beek. He's the best. Matic is the best passer of the ball for getting the ball from midfield to the number 10 or to the forwards. And Martial playing with Van der Beek as well, I think will be good.
Bill Gamer makes a good point as well in Telles' favour, in Telles' defence, is that you could see a better Telles today. Yes. You've seen playing behind a Rashford. If he's playing behind a Pogba, you might get a better Telles.
Yeah, he could play better. He really could. He'll have more support in defence as well.
Do you know who would really suit Telles and really give him an helping hand would be Matic, because Matic covers that left back spot so well, doesn't he, to allow Shaw to get forward. And I don't think.
Be interested. I'll have to check that out. I don't know if anybody might check it out now. Don't you bother. But I wonder if Matic has played in a game that Telles has played in as well. Did Telles play at Goodison Park in the League Cup, I wonder? Because Matic covered that left back area a lot that day. Would it be in a League Cup? I must think it was Shaw, right? That'd be interesting. Matic at times in that game, people thought he was playing left back.
Yeah,
he was in the left back spot that much. But I'm pretty pleased with it. So, anything else? Next one.
All very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exciting. Really looking forward to it.
Jack Berron said, would love to do a swap with West Ham for Declan Rice. Declan Rice, thoughts on that?
A swap with, for who?
He's not actually stated.
Said for who? Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Lingard, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Definitely not suited to us because obviously we're top heavy with players in that position and short on players in the right position. 100% I'd do that. I'd bite the hand off for that. Yeah. Something I did want to touch on. I've just done a little bit of maths just before we came live. I noticed obviously Chelsea have got through the semi-final draw. By the way, anybody who hasn't seen it yet, I mentioned it on the show this morning. The semi-final draw's at half time in our game. So it'll be especially exciting if we happen to be leading at half time. I'd love us to be leading at half time and see how everybody gets. I'm hoping City draw Chelsea. I'm hoping we're in it to start with. That'd leave us with Southampton. But I'm looking at the job that Tuchel's done at Chelsea so far, and I've just added it all up. They've had 14 games in all competitions so far. They've won 10 and they've drawn 4, so they're undefeated in his 14 games. I don't know how long they'll keep that going on. Maybe not for too long if they draw City in the semi. Let's see. But the interesting bit, I've often banged on about the importance of getting it right, getting your 2 midfield players in front of your back 4, making sure you've got 2 players who stay there all the time. I noticed that Billy Gilmore got a game today, which is unusual. Obviously it was an FA Cup tie, but they've always got 2 of Kante, Jorginho and Kovacic just in front of the back 4, which is what we're trying to do. But what I've noticed, they've got 12 clean sheets in 14 games.
12 clean sheets. They've only conceded 2 goals, 2 singles in 2 separate games in 14 games since Tuchel come over. That is a tremendous start, if you call it a start. Really, they've gone past the start, haven't they, now that they've played 14 games. But they've got 12 clean sheets. They've let 2 goals in. They've also not let a goal in the last 7 games in all competitions. So when this draw comes out at half time today, whether it's us that looks like being in it or not, I'm dying for Chelsea to draw City and see if they can maybe put a stop to the quadruple challenge.
Mr. F makes another great point here. Ollie starting Pereira over Lingard and Mata last season was criminal. Maybe that's why Bruno was such a revelation. He took Pereira's spot.
He did take Pereira's spot, and as well as Jesse's playing now, I'm not frightened of saying it. He can't lace Juan Mata's boots. I don't care how well he's playing now. The subtlety and the sweetness of Juan Mata, the way he kills a ball and passes it. So I think he had it completely the wrong way round, the manager, at one point. We had 3 players competing for 1 spot, and I think he had the worst player playing, and when the worst player didn't play, the second worst player played, and the best player hardly ever played. And it completely the wrong way round in my book.
Michael, Josh and Alice has never seen Ricky this excited for a lineup.
I can't wait.
Michael Rizzo, Ricky, is this your favourite lineup minus Shaw, James and McTominay instead of Tellez, Fred and Greenwood? McTominay's in it, isn't it? So it's Matic.
What I did do, I did a show ages ago where I put Ricky's Dream 11, and it had, I think it had.
Matic is in it. McTominay is on the bench. Excuse me.
Yeah, it had. When I did my Dream 11, I had Mata and James, I think, as the flank players, didn't I, at the time? I'm pretty sure I did. But I've got to be honest, it's that long ago that I did that show. I didn't even think of Pogba playing wide in a wide position, and I am impressed with him in that position. So this lineup now, as we speak, if you said to me it was going to be James, Martial, and Pogba, and it was going to be McTominay and Shaw, I think we could. I think we could sweep all before us. You know what I mean? I really do think it'd be a really good team.
Yeah,
really good team.
Frustrating, isn't it, when you feel so when you're so vehement of we've got that quality in the squad and you can't get it out on the field at the same time.
And I don't care what anybody says. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like a machine, and it starts to click together. It's no good saying like there's 8 of your favourite players playing that you'd pick, and if it doesn't go well, people will go, "Oh, it wasn't that good, was it?" It might well not go well, but it could make all the difference. You'll never know what could have happened. We might get beat 1-0, whereas if we had a full strength team out with the other 3 players, I'm not saying this would happen, of course I'm not, but we might have won 5-0. The difference can be unimaginable. There's no point saying 8 of your players are playing and that's, it didn't go well. It's all got to be there. It's got to work like clockwork. All the different cogs have got to fit together.
Yeah, the objective isn't to. It's funny actually, because it's kind of connected to the result in Milan the other night, and how the aim of the game was to keep it tight and then to bring a player on to try and get a goal late on. As you said in your show yesterday, it's trying to keep it at 0-0 as long as you can, because then you only need 1.
Yes, yeah.
But then you hear pundits and people on Twitter and the evening news journalists saying that if we'd have started them, it's like they think that the aim is to win 5-0.
Yeah, that's not the aim. No.
The aim isn't that.
If you do happen to get an early goal and that happens, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Even City don't set out to win 5-0.
No.
When I say even City, I hate putting it that way. They set out to win. That's what they do. And look how proud they are of their goals, despite the fact that they're regularly scoring 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s, whereas we seem to get 1s and 2s, mainly 1s. They get 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s regularly, but they're so proud of having clean sheets. So the clean sheet is the first basis. If you get that clean sheet, you've only got to score 1. And if you do score 1 and you happen to get it early, that's what can happen. Like City struggled to score against Everton yesterday. But once they did score, Everton have got to come out. They scored 2 in 5 minutes, didn't they? And, if they would have scored 1, if it just so happened, because obviously they get the odd chance, if it so happened that they happened to score in the first 20 minutes, they might have won 4-0 yesterday. This is how it goes. So you've got to aim to get that clean sheet and then one goal will do you. And depending on when you get it, that could develop into more than one, obviously.
Yeah, 1-0 is the absolute minimum requirement that you're setting out for.
Yeah.
And if you build on that, in the goals for, fantastic. But what you can't do is concede anymore.
Yeah,
that's that's the aim, isn't it?
Correct.
Jakey Boy says, do you prefer Pogba more advanced or as a box-to-box midfielder alongside Fred, Matic or McTominay?
I prefer him in the more advanced role. He has done a good job, and I've watched it. I've said this before on a few shows. I've watched him play for France in the holding role, and he's been superb for France. I've not seen him play as disciplined in that role for United in years gone by, but I do think he's played that role in a more disciplined manner for United this season. He's been thoroughly decent in that role, but I still prefer players whose first
the
natural instinct, whose first thought when they got the ball. I like two players in that middle. I just spoke about what Tuchel's doing at Chelsea. They've won 10 and drawn 4 of his first 14 games. You know, if you look at his 3 midfield players, I always say we've got to play 2 out of Fred, McTominay and Matic. He always picks 2 out of Kante, Kovacic and Jorginho. None of those players are extravagant players or flamboyant players. None of them are players that you might say, you know, he's like we do about our players, some of our players, like Pogba and like Bruno. You know, he's capable of special things. He's capable of scoring great goals. He's capable of fantastic long passes. I don't think that too many Chelsea fans say that about any of those players. You know, they're just there doing the job correctly in front of the back four and then getting further forward to support the attack when they've got the pressure on the opposition. They just play the game in the right manner, keep it simple and let the forwards do their work and let the wide players do their work. So them 2 players in the midfield, I don't really want to have a player there who's going to take too many risks. And I prefer Paul playing a little bit further forward. Although I have seen him do it quite well for us, and I've seen him do it brilliantly for France. My favourite pair would be McTominay and Matic. I've said it till the cows come home. And today it's Fred and Matic. I'd have loved it if it was McTominay and Matic.
Jasmine says, Rick, people don't want to hear this, but I think Lingard would do a better job than Bruno in terms of bringing everyone into play and technically.
Well, he's playing well at the minute.
Obviously, having watched Bruno, it's funny actually because while Bruno's goals and assists seem to have dried up a little bit and have been back in touch recently, but he's had a spell now where he's
not scored many, has he?
Yeah, it's not been like it was previously, and a lot of people have started to pick holes in his game as a result of that.
Yeah,
whereas I believe
the
underlying performance has been the same throughout. It's just there's now not the goals and assists there to mask that. That lack in underlying performance, but looking so based on that, the way that Bruno has been playing generally, and based on how Lingard is playing at West Ham at the moment and playing in such a disciplined fashion in that role, I would say that Lingard is playing better for West Ham than Bruno is playing for Man United.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
He's performing that role of that number 10 better than Bruno is performing that role at United. For me, anyway. Get back up there. Hello, Rick. Young Woo from South Korea here.
Hi, mate.
In your opinion, was Wan-Bissaka? In your opinion, how has Wan-Bissaka improved from last season, where you were saying he was poor?
He's definitely improved. I also still think that we would. I think we'd have a better. I think we're really close to having a team that could challenge for the title, and I mean really close. And Wan-Bissaka's come on in such leaps and bounds. I don't think necessarily he would have to be the first person that you'd have to worry about or worry about replacing. I still would prefer a player who's better on the ball than Wan-Bissaka, but sometimes, and it still happens, and when I say sometimes, it started to happen, and it still surprises me at times how well he passes the ball, but there's still, in almost every game he plays, 2 or 3 really poor passes. I shouldn't really how can I put it? I noticed there was 2 instances against AC Milan at Old Trafford where there were dead easy passes to Dan James and he overhit it and Dan James couldn't keep it in. And obviously everybody knows how much I defend Dan James. He's an important player in the team for me. And I'm sure when that happens, sometimes some people think it's the wrong person whose fault it is. You know, it was Wan-Bissaka's fault that the passes were over it, not Dan James's fault that he couldn't keep them in. One of them he managed to get his toe to, and one he couldn't even get to. So yeah, he's definitely got to improve further on his distribution. Although he has improved, and he is a better player than I first gave him credit for. And I honestly think. When you're trying to build a team that's going to win the league, the way I look at building a team, I look at a team and I think to myself, who's the worst player in that team? Who is the player who you would replace, who you think you definitely need to improve in a big way? And that's going to give you a better chance. And Wan-Bissaka would not be the first player in my mind that I would say we need to replace and for us to have a chance. Not the first player. Yeah. It might be third or something, but not the first.
Patrick McKenna super chat that I missed. Sorry, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
He said, I'm slightly disappointed because with the exception of our opening match, whenever Dan James has started, we've been undefeated. That's no coincidence.
Yes, I think it's a great point. It's a great point.
You were adamant James was going to start today.
I was convinced he was going. I didn't think he was going to make so many changes.
Yeah.
So it's not a slight against Dan James, is it? You know, he's given so many people a game. It isn't a slight against Dan James. It really isn't. But I did expect him to start. I did expect McTominay to start as well, and I expected Bruno to start. So he's not, he's not in bad company, is he? In the fact that he's been left out.
No.
And I'm sure if it isn't going well, those are the sort of players. Obviously, Cavani's on the bench. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if we need a goal. I take it Bruno's on the bench, is it?
Bruno's on the bench.
Probably his first choice would be Bruno for Van der Beek, wouldn't it? But I don't think Dan James will be too far down the pecking order if we need a goal for him making a sub. I'd absolutely love us to get a goal early doors and for him not to have to think like that and give this team a chance to gel and start playing well together.
Jack Berron says could be a diamond formation. Matic, Fred and Pogba, and Van der Beek at 10, and then Marshall and Greenwood up top. Ollie has done that. Done that before.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we played that diamond, hasn't it? And it's not been too successful when we have.
Yeah, I don't think. Look, even when it is a diamond, I've said this before. It sort of morphs into a 4-4-2 anyway. Like if you think of
when we've played like that, Greenwood ends up pulling to the right.
If you've got Matic playing as a holding role, that's his role anyway. You know what I mean? Then you've got Van der Beek at number 10, that's going to be his role anyway. So then you've got Pogba to the left and Fred to the right. If they're attacking down the left-hand side, down our left-hand side, Pogba goes over there just like your left winger would, trying to block the avenues, and Fred to the right. And I think, it's very similar. I think when you play that diamond, it soon sort of looks. It can at times look like 4-4-2 dead easily.
McSaw says, Rick, is this game not screaming out that Donny will be taken off as first sub for Bruno if things don't go well?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. It always is. But I put something there. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. All games are different, but it was true. It was true. There was a lot of people banging on against West Ham. And I know it worked, and I know we came back and won 3-1. I'm going back a while now. But Van der Beek started at West Ham and we were 1-0 down at half-time, and everybody said, it was shocking. But he's no patience. They didn't give it any time, and Bruno did come on at half-time. They did take Van der Beek off and we did win 3-1. But what I pointed out at the time is the previous week at Southampton we were 2-0 down at half-time. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't going worse at half-time with Van der Beek on than it was the week before without him on.
Josh Harper says, Rick, were you an elite level Sunday League manager? Must have been a nightmare not to be able to watch the games back.
It was a nightmare not being able to watch the games back. It was, yeah. I wouldn't say I was elite level, but I was lucky enough to play and manage lots and lots of really, really top players who I've managed and played with plenty of players who, when you watched them play, you would have to think to yourself, what went wrong? how good have you got to be a top pro, or is there more luck involved than you can possibly imagine? I played with lots of ex-pros. Plenty of ex-pros used to come and play Sunday League football when they'd finished, and they wouldn't come and do that if they weren't enjoying it, and they wouldn't come and do that if they thought they were playing with idiots who couldn't play football, would they?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Interesting that some of the players that you've managed in the past have gone on to be coaches at good levels as well.
True. Yeah. There's two lads who are coaching United. I won't name names, but there's two coaches at Man United who are coaching different levels. I mean, proper at United. I'm not talking about spin-off teams in different parts of the country. There's two lads who are coaches of different teams at Man United who used to play football for me.
Tom Whittingham from Twitter. What's your opinion on Trent Alexander-Arnold? For me, he's not good enough in the defensive third.
I don't watch Liverpool's games that closely, Tom. I think, obviously I've seen him play plenty of times, and I haven't really noticed that he's not good enough in the defensive third. Obviously, Liverpool this season, they're nothing like the Liverpool of the last couple of seasons. But the last couple of seasons before this, they've been in 2 Champions League finals. They got nearly 100 points 2 seasons in a row. Surely he can't be too bad just off that evidence. Surely.
JD says, I don't think Ollie has the nous to utilise Donny to his potential. Probably just heard decent reviews in the position they needed and signed him. At Ajax, he was very much a Thomas Muller type. Shame. You've said that constantly, haven't you? That Thomas Muller's he's a 10, isn't he? Thomas Muller is a top player, and like from day one, you've said that about Van der Beek and about Donny, is that's just his favourite position. Hopefully, that's the position he's playing in today, and I think it is. But people talking about playing him in the middle of the park next to Matic and McTominay, while you've still got Bruno.
Play him on the wing because he'd be better than him on the wing and all that. He needs a game. He's getting the games today in his best position. I feel for the lad. There's just a couple of changes that it could have just been a little bit easier. If Luke Shaw was playing and if McTominay was playing, I think we'd dominate more in midfield with his McTominay
James
strength.
On the right instead of Green would have been nice.
It really
if it was just the team that you wanted,
it would. I mean, his little passes out to Greenwood, if they were just in front of that, he'd probably get Dan James in behind 2 or 3 times. And it's not just about having the pace, it's about timing your runs, it's knowing when to run, when not to run, when to offer.
Yeah.
All these little things, and it all adds up.
Yeah. That's the thing, too many people today out there who may have been just as reluctant as Ollie has been to give Van der Beek a run out at number 10 in place of Bruno. They'll be looking today for worldy moments to gauge whether or not it's been a success or not, and that's not what it's about. He plays that role much differently to how Bruno plays it. It's about being that fulcrum in the centre of that attacking unit.
Keep ticking it over.
It's your job to let the spokes play off you. You're the central cog, and you've just got to keep ticking it over and getting people in and get it and give it and get it and give it.
Yeah.
And what's really strange is that the young kid at Arsenal seems to be playing that role in that similar type of way. He's getting all the plaudits for doing it so well.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. Yes, it's weird.
It's strange.
Yeah.
How can you realise that he's doing that great and then look at Bruno and not think, well, he's not doing it not very good?
Yeah.
So frustrating.
What time is it now?
25 past.
Okay, I've got a little bit of time.
Bear with me a second. Ivy, do you think number 10 is Pogba's best position in our team, says Paul Heroin?
It could easily be, but we've just got too many number 10s, haven't we? I think Pogba's a decent number 10. Obviously, Bruno plays there nearly all the time. I think if it's Van der Beek will probably play at 10 today. I think he'll be a great number 10, Van der Beek. I think Juan Mata's a good number 10. And if we had another number 9, I think Anthony Marshall would make a great number 10 as well. I don't think we'd ever play him there. There's too many options. But I think we've got 5 players who are all suited to playing at number 10. You know what I mean?
It makes me.
And we've got Jesse Lingard out on loan.
It's like banging your head against the wall when you think of some of the quality that we've got for them players. Like Juan Mata can't set foot on a pitch. Van der Beek's getting his first game in
ages,
in a long time. Cavani's on the bench today. Obviously Bruno's on the bench, but then Dan James at the moment proving himself to be,
important player,
a very important player. And when you think of all that quality that's around the club, and Rashford's getting it every minute of every game almost.
Yeah.
What are people looking at?
It's astonishing. It really is.
What are people looking at? Suyasheta, Rick, without James and Luke, we are weak defensively, which makes it more difficult for the attacking players like Donny, Pogba and Martial today.
100%. That's what I'm talking about. The whole team needs to be strong as possible. What's Leicester's lineup? Have they gone as strong as possible? I know it's an FA Cup quarter-final. Yeah. Surely they have.
Yeah, the strong Leicester. I'll get it up now.
Surely they have. So it's going to be, it's as if it's not going to be an hard enough game in the first place.
Schmeichel, Fofana, Evans, Soyuncu, Castagna, Ndidi, Tielemans, Albrighton, Perez, Iheanacho and Vardy.
Wow.
Proper full strength in it.
It's a really, really good team. Really good team. So people who, if we happen to be 2-0 down at half time,
doesn't matter who we would have picked.
I need to put that on Twitter before it starts. You know what I mean? If we're 2-0 down at half time, don't think we've never been 2-0 down at half time before with other players playing. against lesser teams than this as well. Yeah. Against lesser teams.
Rick the Red USA says Dan James is the new Ji-Sung Park.
Yeah.
Paul Hervin says Bruno is the worst 10 we have out of 5 players that we have.
Might be right. Might be right.
Does that include Lingard? JD would love to see a simple team. Matic, McTominay, Mata, Donny, Pogba, Martial, James for either Pogba or Donny on occasion. Would love to see it someday, but seems like a pipe dream.
I give me right arm.
United analysis, Ricky. Don't you think having Pogba at 10 instead of Bruno would let us play better and have better ball retention and decision making?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but I think Van der Beek at 10 as well is. I think Van der Beek. I honestly think he's going to be a superb number 10. He would be. I really don't. I'm proper in the camp, me, that you do not need necessarily. So obviously, it's great if you can score great goals like Pogba can and Bruno can. It's great if you can do that, if that's an extra string to your bow. But the most important part of a number 10's role for me is recycling the ball around the midfield, getting players into position in the wide areas, getting people in behind. Just keep passing it, keep moving it. And I would love Van der Beek to get 10 games in a row at number 10 and let's see how he does. And just going off this one game today, especially if it's going badly at half time and we sub him, I'll be devastated. There's just a lack of patience, that's all.
John Joe Kerwin. Hello Ricky, following on from my question on your partnership with Billy Dux on the last show, Do you have any tips for younger strikers like my son Oisin?
Any tips for him? There's loads of things. I'll tell you what, massively important point, if he's playing up front, if the ball comes to him with his back to goal, if he tries to take a touch and get the ball under control every time it comes to him, he'll get it right more often than getting it wrong. When you understand the game properly, there is the odd occasion where you have to do it first time, there is that. But getting rid of the ball first time every time will be wrong more times than trying to get it under control every time first time. Every now and again, if the flick's all right. Every now and again, if you see Danny Welbeck's assist last week for Trossard against Brighton, it's an obvious instance when it's got to go first time. So there are examples of that. But in the main, if he takes a touch and looks for the pass, he must try and get his first touch right and get the ball under control. Get fouled from behind, that's great, that's fine. You get it down, be brave. Some people are a little bit afraid, I think, when they've got a 6'3", I don't know how old your lad is, he might not be playing against 6'3" lads yet. But when you've got a 6'3", 14 stone centre half or 13 stone centre half behind you, some people are a bit afraid of it. You've got to get that ball down. If he fouls you from behind, that's fine. If he doesn't, get it down and pass it.
Ultimately, the goal is to play it first time only when it absolutely needs to be first time, when it's the right thing to do.
Perfect instance, now, yeah. If the ball comes to you and you're 20 yards inside their half and your right back's there and it's a ball that you're going to give to your right back and you can see that he's in space, right winger or right back if he's coming forward, if you try and pass it first time, you'll get it wrong a lot more often than when you've taken a touch and then pass it to him.
Yeah.
So don't hog the ball. I'm just talking about getting it under control. Get it under control and pass it.
Yeah. That's what I was just going to say, that ultimately you want to get to a point where you've got the skill and the nous to understand exactly when it's right to do
Correct.
it first time.
Yeah.
And when you work out, while you're working towards that understanding, you're better off coming at it from taking 2 touches and trying to lose a touch in the right instance.
Correct.
Rather than constantly taking 1 touch and then having to learn to start taking 2 because you're giving it away too much playing it first time.
Yeah.
So start with 2 and then trim it,
Learn, but should have gone first time, that
yes,
one.
Exactly.
I'll get that right next time.
Exactly. Loads of stuff that I've just missed while we're talking about that there. Brogan, Damo Brogan, good afternoon, Ricky.
Hi, Damo.
How do you think Marshall will do on Johnny Evans? He's a very smart defender.
Johnny Evans.
Marshall do?
Johnny Evans, this is what I'm on about here now. Johnny Evans is a great player. He really is a great player. It's going to be a proper tough game. Marshall's got to do what I've just been talking about there. He's got to get hold of the ball and feed people into position, lay it back into Van der Beek, and then get himself in the box. He's got to play like he normally plays, Anthony Marshall. It's as simple as that. And I think with Pogba on the left, which I think it'll be like that, I think he's got more chance today of getting 1 or 2 possible chances created for him. I think Marshall and Pogba do link up together really well at times. I think it might be time to go, mightn't it?
Yeah, 25 to, time to go really.
One more do you want?
This one's a bit of a long one, I suppose, but JD says, Rick, I have a question about football philosophy. I know you were a fan of Cruyff and Reyes Michaels. I never watched, but from what I've read, it was more of a 3-4-3 when you seem to prefer 4-4-2. Please elaborate.
Right.
It's a big topic. Topic.
It's a big topic. It was more of a fluid system, really, that Dutch team. Like I've just spoken about, players are good in certain positions. I mean, in the '74 World Cup, Ruud Krol, who was a centre back for most of his career, was playing as a wide left of a 4, the way I saw it. Wim Serbia was an out and out right back, and then Harry Hahn, who was a midfield player, really used to drop in. So although Harry Hahn was a midfield player naturally, really for me, I thought he was playing more as a centre back in that team. And Rijsbergen, who was a Feyenoord centre back, he was a centre back. So I thought they had really a back 4. Krol used to, a little bit like Matic does. Harry Hahn was dropping in and playing more as a centre back than a midfield player, and Krol was playing left a lot. So it's arguable. It was a fluid system. They moved around a lot, and to me, they often had 4 in place in the back 4.
One last one in the super chat from Adam Farmer. As much as I like Tellers, the only undroppable player is Shaw. Feels like the manager is throwing those players under the bus, coming back from injury. At least their quality and play properly.
Yeah. I'd have played Luke Shaw.
I guess he's referring to Marshall and Van der Beek there, I suppose, and Pogba, I suppose.
Yeah.
All coming back from injury and having to do so with not your strongest back 4 on the pitch.
Yeah, the strongest back 4 on the pitch.
Do them a favour.
I mean, I'd love to swap all of them, but I'd like James to be playing. I'd like Matt Tominey to be playing. But if I could only choose one, this would have been a good question. If I could only choose one, I'd have Luke Shaw in. I'd have that proper platform, that back 4 in place. That's what I'd do. Yeah. Is that it, do you think?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. I love the little questions about my own footballing times and who I played with and what sort of players I played with. Love all that. But thanks for all the questions anyway. And see you next time. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed it, tell all your friends. Please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, you know the score now. Don't say anything. That's it. That'll do.